Yes, it is a coconut. What coconut? What is this? What is this talking about the coconut? So
Mr. Chowdhury, how are you?
pretty good, my man. Pretty good.
Got a got a notification that DLP is live.
All right. Let me see. So I can share it. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Look at those two beautiful people, man. Let's see.
And then while you're sharing, I'm going to bring this back up on the screen and remind people that today we're going to be discussing ads. So we still have about a couple minutes before we begin officially, but today it's May 10th and we're going to be discussing ads, paid ads to help you with your small business, to help you with your online presence, pushing your product, marketing, merchandising, whatever you want to call it. Thus far, we've had multiple sessions of building a web page that converts. We talked about essential elements for conversion, off-page SEO, and what helps with off-page SEO, search engine optimization. Yusuf gave us some great things to do. Write blogs. Make sure you're posting things on social media. This way, the crawler can index all these things and make sure your site ranks. We talked last week. We talked about social media strategy, which ties in with off-page SEO as well. Also, it's very important when it comes to brand awareness, right?
Mhm.
So raising, and also giving people valuable content for free, not just selling, building some equity with your audience. And today we're going to talk about ads, paid ads. So what was interesting also in that we didn't we got a greetings.
Yes, that's from Charles. He's a WordPress developer.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he's one of those geeks, right?
So
Knows how to do stuff. Yep.
on that note, I was going to mention that you, in one of our earlier episodes, you were talking about self-hosted websites. We were talking about different hosting options,
Yeah.
dedicated servers versus shared servers. We were talking about WordPress,
Yeah.
Squarespace, Wix, all these different options, people. So make sure you go to the Digital Learning Partners Facebook page and YouTube channel. Yusuf and myself, we're trying to offer all this free education, free content. It's great material. If you're really interested in building a website, learning a little bit about the technology, learning a little bit about the theory, uh,
He should watch that video, geek versus nerd from the Reddit link. He should watch that video. The war between it's hilarious.
so just to recap, guys, go to the old videos and see that we've covered various topics. If you really want to build a web page, a website that converts, we talk about what to put on your opening screen. What's the first banner? What's the second banner? What does the homepage look like? What is the journey you're taking your potential clients or users through? What color schemes? Yusuf on many of the episodes talks about free resources and free tools. We've put them in all of the comments of our previous shows. All of these are great free resources. So if you're a small business owner and you're struggling, or you're not struggling, but you want to move your entity online and you want to learn about becoming operating in the digital sphere, this is a series for you. So Yusuf, we're at the 401 mark, and just to remind everyone that today we're going to be talking about ads. So when you hear the word ads, and as it relates to social media, as it relates to web design, as it relates to small businesses, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear ads?
Well, typically, I mean, we think of like Google ads. We think of search engine ads in most cases, right? But there are many varieties when it comes to specifically the online advertising or the online ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
So first, few things you have to understand that ads still important. I mean, if you look at Google, they make billions of dollars, believe it or not, just from Google ads itself. That's like the majority of the income also comes from the Google ads, right? Besides some other venues. So the benefit of the ads, I mean, there are a few things that to take into consideration that ads can be set up quickly, and your website, whether it's an e-commerce or it's a retail store or a business B2B or B2C or whatever, you can set it up. Yeah, the result will show up quickly within 24 hours, right? Because sometimes they have to manually approve your ad, and it can also help you to basically get this targeted audience that actually interested in your product and services. You can collect those data, right, in a short period of time. Because if you do things organically, for example, the social media marketing, organic strategies, or the search engine optimization technique, those techniques, you have to look at them in the long run. What I mean by that, if you have the funding that you want to invest for like 2 or 3 years from now, and you want to build a brand so you can be the top #1 to get all the organic traffic, that's very good. But if you're a new business, understand that you're not going to get the result quickly if you do things organically. Just by the name of the word organic, it's going to take some time. So that's something every business needs to understand. Okay. But if they are in urgent need that, you know what, I definitely need to see how my customers are behaving. I want to test the website quickly. I want to see what's working and what's not working. Then the ad, it is the option, because in the ad platform, you will be able to target the locations, target the demographics, target the audience that are actually interested. So there's more chance for that audience to see the ad and take some actions versus if you do things organically. So does that make sense?
So again, let's take a step back. So if these are small businesses and they're new to the online arena, obviously they've been watching the show, so they're more familiar with it. But maybe they're more aware of the traditional way of doing ads, whether it be magazines or newspapers or sending out postcards or billboards, etc. So right now we're talking about digital advertisement to promote your online business, and you reference Google and a few other things. So just real quick, what are some of the different options before we go into the details of them? What are some
Mhm.
of the different options businesses have when it comes to advertising their business? Where can they advertise?
First of all, 97% of the consumers, they hang out on Google. That's the
Okay.
first thing. Everyone goes
Mm.
to Google to search for something, right? And this is a very good question you pointed out right here. What I want to make a distinction that there is a big difference between advertising through the search, which is the Google and Bing, right? And online advertising through the social channels, which are Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, and Reddit, right? These are social media platforms. They also have that option for you to run an ads. The behavior on the search is a little bit different than the behavior on the social channel, because on the search engine, when I go to Google, I'm looking for information. I'm searching for a product. I'm searching for a review of a product. I'm searching for a blog about this product, right? So I can make that purchase, so I can buy it. Make sense? That is the behavior of most people. But when people hang out on social media, mostly for, either wasting time or being a narcissist, right? Or just complaining politics, and like nowadays, right now, like the most popular post on Facebook right now, it's either people who wants to wear a mask and people who doesn't want to wear a mask, and each one is just kind of insulting each other, right? That's the most popular stuff going on right now, right? So that's the behavior. But how does the social ad can also help with conversion? And it helps because if I'm interested in, let's say, working at home, a specific fitness, and if I see the ad on my newsfeed because I'm interested in it, there's more chance for me uh, to click on it. But the concept of behavior is still different. One of the challenges is that there are some ads doesn't work on Facebook,
Mm.
right? So we have to research and find out, do these certain audience exist? Like, for example, we are running a ad for a client who provides some type of training for something similar to Zoom, but he's more specialized in a specific area for teachers and college professors, right? So something like a little bit very niche, unique, right? We did it on the LinkedIn, but we didn't do it for a long time. We did it for a short, like 1 or 2 week. We got the leads, but the leads didn't convert, right? My suggestion was to run it for a month. So the client right now wants to test Facebook. So we basically explained to him that this sort of niche, we have not seen any information available on Facebook. So there's a chance it might not work, but we'll just go ahead and give it a shot. Okay. But for other businesses, like the local businesses, e-commerce, I mean, Facebook in most cases does really help. Do you see what I'm saying? But the same thing can be applied on the Google and the Bing. So what I want to explain is that the behavior are different, the price is going to be different, the demographic might be different, and the strategy might be different. So for small businesses, what they need to do is understand that online advertising is important. If you don't want to wait for a long time to get customers, so you have to do the research and find out where are you going to run the ad, right?
Let, I'm just interrupting so we can put in perspective again. So Yusuf has taken us through this journey. You build a web page that converts, it kills. It's a great web page. It's designed flawlessly. It follows a methodology. It takes people through a journey, but you still may not be getting visitors on your website. So this is the reason why you want to invest in ads. I'm sorry, Yusuf. Go ahead and continue.
No, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely because remember initially when we talked about you target your audience, then you build a website that is optimized for your target audience. Then you have to focus on traffic, right? When we mentioned paid traffic, what I meant by that is you're paying Google and Bing and Facebook and all those places. You're paying them to run the ad. Versus even if you hire somebody to do the SEO or social media, you're still paying, but the thing with the social and the search engine, you can also do it by yourself if you know how to do it, right? So that's what I meant by paid traffic and organic. Because organic, you're not paying Google for your content to be ranked organically, or you're not paying all the social channels to post organic content. You're just posting it yourself. So that's what's the difference between paid traffic and non-paid traffic, right? And those traffic has to be super targeted. That means these are the customers that want to buy my stuff or want to, get the service. So that's what I'm saying. The ad is beneficial. Of course, the scary thing, it costs money because you have to understand how the click work, the cost per click, which means for every ad that I see on Google, if I click on it, that individual or that company will pay Google.
Right.
And there's several prices. You have to do the research first. Like, okay, I'm going to focus on the yoga industry. How much it costs for these 100 keywords? Each keyword has a price, which is called the maximum bid price, right? And you have to understand how the ad works and how to set it up and test it and see if the traffic that you set up on the ad doing what it's supposed to do. So if I want the traffic from Google to give me a call, I want a call ad. If I want the customer to see the ad and go to my website and fill up a form, then I'm going to run that type of ad. And I can put a specific price. You know what? After the research, it looks like if I want to get 200 leads, looks like I'm going to have to spend 2,000 based on the research, based on the price of the click, based on the estimation of how many leads I'm going to get. So typically we say for every 10 click, you might get a lead. That's just a standard in the advertising industry that we say that it's always like 2% conversion. That's like across the board, right? It can be more, of course, but that is just the minimum. You know what I mean? So we have to understand the importance of the ad, right? So the importance of the ad and how, excuse me, it can help us get more customers. It can reach specific demographic and audience based on how we set it up. Okay. It also brings that visibility because if somebody see the ad quickly on the Google search or on the social, that also builds some type of credibility, right? It can also increase the authority of your business because people can see it. And the most important thing to me, in my opinion, is that it brings you that targeted traffic. It's not just any traffic. Okay.
I want to go back a little bit because you brought up the price point. But one thing I want to do is make sure people are not afraid. For these ads, you can set a budget, right? So if you're not having a company run your ads for you who you can trust, and you're trying and you're experimenting on your own, what you do is you experiment, but you experiment within a budget. Set that budget so that way, you don't wind up blowing $100 or a couple $1,000s on ads that don't convert.
Yeah, that's a very important question. And the thing is, like, it depends on how much the cost of the clicks are, right? So you can do the math. If this particular keyword costs like $1, and typically it takes 10 clicks to get the lead, that means I'm going to probably have to pay $10 total to get one lead, for example. That is just an estimation. And you can put like $5 a day, $10 a day, or $50 a day, and you can cap it. That way it's not going to go above that. Now, the mistake that most people do, this is very common across the board, like when they try to learn how to do ads from scratch, first, they don't understand the concept of what each feature means. What does CPC mean? What does CPM mean? What does group ad mean? So they need to just educate a little bit. I mean, you can go to Google, YouTube and type Google AdWords beginners tutorial 2020 or 2019, and you'll find a bunch of excellent videos for like an hour that goes through every single step on the back end, right? Or you can go to Google Garage, Google Scale, Google Partners Program, and take those lessons and learn the basic, right? Learn the basic, and whatever you learn, as you're learning, you apply it. Don't finish the whole 5-6 videos. So the first video says, this is how you log in. Okay, pause, log in. All right? So do this step by step. The resources are available out there. Like, Facebook has their own free training, facebook.com/blueprint, right? Google has their own free training on running ads, Bing the same way. So the first thing a small business needs to do is, if they want to do it by themselves, just learn the basic, how to set it up, how to run it, and how to test it. Okay, and maybe you can drop in $100 or $200 and see what happens, right? Because you have to go through the experience and several mistakes in order for you to kind of figure out how it's done. Now, if you can do it, and if you're afraid or confused or don't want to take the risk, then of course hire the professionals like us to basically do it for you. In fact, when we do it for you, since you have full access to the account, you can see exactly what's happening in the background. We're not hiding it. Like, you can see exactly how it's set up, what's happening. Ask question. We can even show you how the whole thing's set up, so you can learn how it works.
I mean, agencies also usually provide a report, so and they're staking their reputation on these services. So I would also say vet the organization that you're trying to hire and make sure that you can get some references or referrals. But now, not to detract you. So if we're new to the ads game, right? And you mentioned earlier Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. And this is going to be a very vague question, I know, but where do you recommend, and Google, where do you recommend people to start? Do we start with Google ads? Do we start with Facebook ads? Do we start with LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn ads have been increasing.
That is a very beautiful question. It depends on where your customer exists. So most people, of course, in Google. So you're going to start there, right? When it comes to social, it depends on your audience. Remember, a while back, we talked about, for example, we talked about if you are in the real estate business and the majority of your audience are 35 years old and above, right? Whether it's for selling home or buying home. So if I'm going to use a TikTok ad, I'm like, the majority of people in TikTok are from 12 to like 18 or something. So that's not my audience. So I'm not going to use that platform right now. Makes sense? So I have to see exactly where the audience exists. If I go to LinkedIn, yeah, that's mostly professionals. Maybe I can try that because I want the secretary, I want the CEO or the manager see my ad, for example, because that's where the audience is. So the first thing is find out where your audience exists. Now, Google, of course, is given. Google is like almost 90-something% of the market share. It happens on Google. Excuse me. And that's what you can also start. But because Google ad is a little bit intimidating because it's a beast because there's so much stuff and sometimes it can throw you off, right? So my recommendation is maybe you can start with Facebook because Facebook is much simpler. It's user-friendly. It doesn't have too many steps to follow. But Google has so many sophisticated ways that I can run something called display ad. I can run the regular ad that shows up on the search. I can run a YouTube ad, which is part of Google ad as well. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, I can do a variety of things and test and see exactly where exactly the conversion happens and where exactly I'm getting this customer. And not just that, there's another ad called content advertising. Have you ever heard of content advertising?
What differentiates it?
The content advertising, if you go to this company called Taboola or Outbrain, so the objective of the content advertising, you have a blog, you have a website, and you have this amazing content that you want people that read the New York Times or the Newsweek or Washington Post or all these big names, major news establishment. If you want your content to show up on their newsfeed, it will show up. So basically, you're getting new readers back to a blog content that you wrote on your website so they can come to your website and read more. So that's another way to bring in some sort of targeted traffic from these major places of online, agencies and news agencies and whatnot. It's called content advertising. That's another format to basically build your brand and get more content-based followers. Okay, so when you get a chance, check out Taboola and Outbrain. So we have the search engine advertising, we have the content online advertising, and we have the social media advertising. Okay, but the whole concept is that with advertising, I can run it for a month. I can collect those data to see what happened. Did I get the click? Once I got the click, did the customer go to my website and enter their information? So I can do the comparison: how many click, how many submission, how many forms, how many conversion. Now you have a data to go off, right? If I spend 1,000 and I got, let's say, 200 leads, only 100 click on the website and only 50 opted in to my, let's say, application or set up an appointment and whatnot, and only 20 became my customer, and each one of them, you make like probably $500 from each one of them, then that's great. My 1,000 investment is good because I'm making my money back, right? So now based on this information, based on this data, I can either continue the ad or increase more money, or I can pause it. Okay, you won't be able to get those data in a short period of time if you do the search engine or the social, even though those are very important, because the beautiful thing about the search engine, that takes a long time. Let's say within a year, now you're on the front page and you're getting like 300 hits a day organically, calls, submission, and whatnot. So it's like the tipping point, the snowball effect, right? It reached that tipping point. So I'm not saying SEO is not important. It's very, very important, but you have to look at the organic social media marketing and the search engine optimization marketing in the long run. It's not to something quick. But for those customers that want something in a short period of time, you have to test the ads, because the ad going to not just bring you the target audience and the exposure, but the most important thing, those data that can help you on how to go back and tweak it and update and change.
On that point, do you think experimentation is very important? I mean, you've answered it, but is it important for, like, if I want to start running ads for the first time for myself?
Yeah.
Is it good for me to play around with it for a little bit within a certain budget so I can get data and then refine my approach and strategy later on?
You can, but it depends how skillful you are. Okay. And the reason I'm saying this, because just like, if you meet a mechanic that's been in business for like 20, 30 years and it tells you how to change, certain things, you might see it, you might do by yourself, but there's a more chance that you're going to make a mistake, right? If you have the money, you don't care to kind of burn that money to test and learn, go for it, right? But if you just want to test it to see how it works, then before testing it, I highly recommend that you should really study first, right? Then take the risk, because even if you don't succeed, at least understand what happened. If you can't figure out what exactly happened, then you let the expert log in to your ad and let them analyze it, and they can tell exactly what went wrong, right? But from a business perspective, if like, for example, I love design, you know that, right? I love graphic, I love art, I love design, but I'm not a professional designer, right? I can tell you what I like from my perspective, but if I want to get like an honest feedback, then I'm gonna pass it to my designer team. They're the expert, and they can tell me why this is wrong and why this is not. Make sense? So because that's not my thing. Even if I study design, and it's not my thing. I don't want to do that. Right? I'm good at what I do best. So that depends on small business. So there are some people that can amazingly learn and they do very well, and there are some that learn and they just get frustrated and they just don't do anything. So that is up to the individual. If you are one of those people that can study and learn and take risks and play, burn some money, because look at it as an investment for the future, because you're not just burning that money for the sake of burning it. You're doing it because you're learning. So that is an investment in a way.
So I know this is an obvious question with an obvious answer, but again, just to keep the audience in mind. So in your opinion, so you talked about organic traffic, we talked about SEO, off-page SEO, but ads is a worthwhile investment if you're trying to further your business's reach, whether it's a physical location or a digital business. This is something that many businesses are relying on, correct?
You're absolutely correct, especially for some of the startup companies that I've been consulting who has some money. In order for them to see exactly how the market is going to react to their product and services, the first place they need to do is run an ad. Now, if they have more money, then they also invest in the traditional advertising, which is the billboard, TV ads and stuff like that, and to see how that's going to help them, right? But the ad, it's one of the ways that we highly recommend that, hey, if you want to find out how this isn't working and you don't have time to wait for like 6 months from now, run the ad.
Let's talk about some specifics now. LinkedIn. What do you know? Why should we advertise on LinkedIn, and who should advertise on LinkedIn?
Excellent. Because that's a beautiful question, because almost everybody on LinkedIn are professionals, CEOs, managers, secretaries. I mean, all kinds of businesses and companies exist there. So if you are in the let's say government type of business where you sell cybersecurity, right, for all these government contracts, government agencies, so now you can run an ad, that shows the benefit, but targeting the secretary or the manager of that specific government agency, so they can see the ad. Make sense? And they can make the decision because I'm targeting them, because they're the decision maker. They're the one who can say yes or no. Do you see what I'm saying? Because we had a prospect a couple of years ago who was selling some machinery for mostly government agencies, and we basically suggested and showed them that, look, we found all these military personnels, their rankings and their positions in their establishment, and now when you run the ad, they can see it because they want them to see it. So these the highly professional people that run this company or the veterans, so they can see how they can get hired, right? So that's what I'm saying. So LinkedIn is good, but again, depends on your business. Like, does the audience exist there? Then of course you can run and test it.
So LinkedIn, decision makers, influential people. We're talking about maybe people who are really in the business of doing business.
Yeah,
Um,
and
so how
especially B2B, and especially B2B, because a lot of you know
out of what?
a lot of B2B, like the business to business
I
kind
see.
of. Yeah, because with the social, I mean, it can be B2B, it can also be B2C, right? And the Google, of course, everybody is on Google. I mean, businesses like contractors, whether it's private institution or government agencies, they go to Google to find companies. So if you
Hmm.
show up, great.
So Google is a little bit more now.
Yes.
LinkedIn we've put into certain region, and now Google is a little bit overall.
Yeah,
It
because everyone uses Google. Everyone uses Google. There's no doubt. And the behavior of us going to Google is mainly for searching. So that means any companies want to hire somebody, they go to Google to search.
hmm.
And just like almost everyone does that. So why not being there? You see, in most cases, I would say with all our clients, every time, like, we never fail. All the ads that we run on Google, we always got data. We always got data. Like, people actually clicking, subscribing, and everything. In most cases, but in the social, some work, some doesn't. We did not see that problem with Google.
Who markets on Instagram?
Real estate, e-commerce businesses, food industries like restaurants, toys, what else? Makeup, women clothings,
I've seen a lot of health products.
health product as well. Yes,
Uh,
health products, because the people on Instagram right now, it's like almost now the demographic is becoming like almost people like in the 30 years old, that kind of
hmm.
stuff. That's why.
Yeah, I've also been seeing a lot of like business tools and platforms being marketed on Instagram. I get like health products and business tools.
Yeah, because right now Instagram even offered a way that you can set up a booking from your Instagram page.
Wow.
So if you have a clinic or a yoga or a fitness, they can just book it from there,
There
from
we
the
go
from
with
the.
there we go with the yoga again, brother. Every episode we have a yoga reference.
Yeah, yoga is much easier, man. As an example, even though I'm
Uh,
not a yoga instructor.
I want this episode to be a little bit shorter. We're getting closer to the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you wrap it up, but just to remind everybody that next week we're gonna be talking about. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna remove this. We're gonna be talking about something that's very important, and that's ADA compliance.
Yes.
Um, so something that is becoming more prevalent in terms of being ADA compliant. There's also repercussions if you're not. So this is going to be a very important episode. And then Yusuf, we had a question that came in. So let me put the question on the screen, and then we'll wrap it up.
Nice. Very nice. What are the most common mistakes people commit when starting with Google Ads? Not setting up the right target audience, not picking up the right keywords, okay, and not putting money where it's supposed to be. What I mean by that, they put like $100. What are you gonna get from $100, right? Again, it depends on who you're targeting, or the price of the keyword. If it's like 50 cents, great, $100 is gonna definitely work. But if the keyword costs like $1.50 or $2, that's gonna be burned out real quickly. So they don't target the right audience. For example, what they do when they set up the ad, they don't put the location what they're targeting. If I'm in Leon Valley area, I should just pick that zip code and not the whole of San Antonio. Because if you have a small money, you cannot. If you have a small money and it's supposed to reach like 100,000 people, that's not gonna work. It's gonna get dried up.
Hmm.
So the location are not correct. The keywords are not correct. Most of the keywords are too general, like very broad, right? And of course, the investment, they don't put enough money to test it. If you put like $100, $50, 200, that's not gonna do anything. You're not gonna get enough data from that. So those are the most common mistakes.
So then wrap us up, Yusuf, in terms of now, today we summarized the importance of SEO on page, off page. We talked about social media marketing last week. So just wrap us up when it comes to ads. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is test it, do it. Do the ad if you want quick result. If you when I say quick result, I'm talking about quick information, quick data to see how your customers are behaving. So look into it.
We got to bring that little meme of Shia LaBeouf when he says, just do it.
Just do it. All right.
So everybody, thank you for tuning in today. It was a shorter episode, but we've covered a lot in the last 5 weeks or so. This is a
Yeah.
series that we developed, but even before the series, we had a few different topics that we did. So today was part 5 of the ongoing series. And next week, we're going to conclude this series and move on to the next.
Yeah.
Yusuf, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you,
Thank
my
you,
friend.
sir.
Stay warm in San Antonio.
Yes, sir. It's beautiful today too.
Take care, my friend.
Take care. Bye bye.